Hello, my name is Minkyu and we'll be covering section B of topic 1 in IGCSE 921 chemistry in Edexcel, which is 1.8 to 1.13. We'll start off by 1.8, which is to understand how to classify a substance as an element, compound, or mixture. To visualize it, there's the definitions there. Its element would just be helium atoms. Compounds would be CO2, and mixtures would be a mixture of those two, maybe. Or it could just be helium and O2s, which are not chemically bonded, like these are. But you might be asking, why is there O2? Isn't it chemically bonded? No. Oxygen is a diatomic element, which is including such as hydrogen, which is H2, nitrogen, which is N2, oxygen, which is your O2, etc. and etc. Next point is 1.9. Understand what that a pure substance has a fixed melting and boiling point, but what a mixture may melt or boil over a range of temperatures. Well, pure substance would just melt or boil in a fixed temperature, as the definition says, such as water. It will boil at 100 degrees. However, in a mixture, such as water and salt, water and salt, it will increase the temperature by like 0.2. So it'll be 100.2 degrees Celsius. 1.0, describe these experimental techniques for the separation of mixtures: simple distillation, fractional distillation, filtration, crystallization, and paper chromatography. I wrote down the basics because these won't necessarily come in the exams as much, but paper chromatography will. So these are the basics. So to distinguish these two, it's simple distillation is when the melting and boiling points are very different, whilst fraction distillation are when the melting or boiling points are very similar to each other. Filtration, crystallization, and paper chromatography. Yes. Now I'll be going over 1.11. In 1.11, understand how a chromatogram provides information about the composition of a mixture. So paper chromatography, as I wrote before, it's to investigate the composition of a mixture, such as a pen or ink, and what kind of materials are used in it. So a baseline, which is the pencil line over here, is drawn on the paper. The mixture is spotted onto the baseline alongside known or standard reference materials. The end of the paper is then put in a solvent, which is around here, solvent, which will run up the paper, which will come over here, reached by solvent, which will run through the spots as it shows in the diagram, and taking some of the dyes with it. And as I said, different dyes will travel different heights up the paper. And this is how you distinguish between different dyes. And in 1.12, understand how to use calculations of RF values to identify the components of a mixture. This is the equation for the RF value. It's best to remember this. And the RF value of one of the components of the mixture equals the RF value of one of the standard reference materials, such as red one and this red one. Then the component is known to be the reference material. So these are the same material. That's what I'm trying to say, if the RF values are the same. That's the basics. It's pretty simple. Topic 1 is pretty simple. And we'll do a sample past paper. 2017 January paper. I'll be silent for a little bit. You can pause the video to do the question, and I'll run it through with you guys later. Okay. So, D1. State why the solvent level, you should read this first, obviously, but for time's sake, state why the solvent level should not be above the baseline at the start of the experiment. So this is so that it prevents inks dissolving. As if the solvent was above here, there's no point, because the solvent would be running up and taking all the dyes with it. Part 2, explain which dye present in one of the inks A, B, C, or D is also present in ink B. Alright. Which would be B. These are the only common ones. B. As it is spotted at the same height. Oops. Part 3. State why ink D does not move during the experiment. This would be because it's insoluble in the solvent. In part 4, we cannot really do it as there's no fixed measurement, but I will just run through the distance moved by dye in ink A in millimeters. So you would just use a ruler in the exam, which should be, give or take, like 20 millimeters. And to find this, you would use the equation over here, which will be 0.41. That is section B of topic 1 in chemistry. Thank you.